In this video, I want to go over some of the general settings that you'll want to have when you have set up your WordPress website. And you're going to find these under Settings on the left-hand side. So we're going to go to General. And under General, this is going to have your site title. It's going to have your tagline. Depending on your site, this might be what people see as your logo and your tagline. Sometimes not. Sometimes you might just have your logo depending on what your site has. This is your WordPress URL and site URL. You want to make it typically this is going to be the same. I wouldn't worry too much about that. This is going to be your email address. Membership, if you want people to be able to register to your site, and when they do, I generally leave this off. I don't want anyone to register. You'll get a bunch of spammers trying to register. And when they do register, what is their new user default role? Do you want them to be administrator, contributor, subscriber? Definitely don't want them to be an administrator. Your time zone, date format, and time format, and what day your week starts on. And then you would just save your changes. All right, so that's obviously general. Let's go to the writing area. All right, so a couple of different things. I usually don't change the post box size. That's just how many lines it is when you go to post. You can convert different pictures that you make with like with colon parentheses into actual emoticons if you want. Sometimes that's might be something you want, sometimes not, depending on what you're doing. And if you can also select if you want your WordPress to automatically correct some of the HTML that's in there, and sometimes that's good, sometimes that's not. I actually usually leave it unchecked because it can break things, so I usually leave that as that. Default post category. This is, for example, if you have one category out there, or if you have one category that's more used than anything, you can change the default category so you don't always have to pick a category when you're in the post. Default post format is, I just leave it as standard. And link category, the links, we didn't actually go into links because links aren't used that much anymore, and actually a lot of the times Google doesn't like you having what's called a blog role anyway. It's just not used nearly as much as it was before because of its SEO value has gone down. Here, if you want to post via email, you have to enter in your mail server information and so on. This basically, you, like it says right here, any mail received at this address will be posted. So you want to keep this very secret. And so you want to make sure that this is something that that other people aren't going to do, because as soon as someone knows this, they can email that particular email address and start posting onto your blog, and that's not something that's good. You can do remote publishing. XML RPC is typically what you'll use. You can use your WordPress. You can use your WordPress. I use XML RPC. You can use your WordPress iPad or iPhone app or Android app and so on to be able to post to your blog and to also respond to comments and all other stuff. So it's pretty handy. The next place we're going to is reading under settings. The front page displays your latest posts. This is if you want it to be more of a blog feel, or it could be a static page. So say you have an about page, or you have a page you want to, basically a static page is going to look, it's going to make it look like a regular website, usually, depending on your theme. You might have a page that just talks about what your blog is about, and then people actually have to click on blog in the nav bar to get to your actual blog. But generally, you're going to leave it at your latest posts unless you have a reason to do that. But if you do static page, you can make your front page be, say, Lorem Ipsum, and then your blog page would be clearing floats if this is where your actual blog is. Put it back to latest posts. You can show on your front page, show the last 10 posts, the last 20 posts, last 50 posts, depending on what you want, and your syndication feed. This is your RSS feed, real simple syndication, and that's something that people can use to subscribe to you in Google Reader or NetVibes and other places. So I generally leave this at 10 items, and I use the full text in that feed. That way I keep the subscriber. Generally, people don't like subscribing to a summary. A summary just shows a couple, just 180 characters or whatever of the post, and it makes it kind of useless to actually subscribe doing that, in my opinion. So under, let's go to the next setting. Under settings, we're going to go to discussion. This is where you're going to manage your comments. Attempt to notify any blogs linked from the article. This is actually very awesome. This is something that will allow you to say if someone has another WordPress blog, if you create a post and you link to one of their posts, not to their blog, their homepage, but if you link to one of their posts in your post, what WordPress will try and do, it will actually go and do what's called a ping back, and we'll talk about that in just a little bit, because you're going to allow you're going to allow or disallow ping backs and trackbacks. But this will basically it'll shoot a notification to the person that they've linked to your site, that you have linked to their site. And what they can do is actually approve a pingback. Now, a pingback is exactly that. It's a notification that that someone has linked to your blog post. So say you wrote an amazing piece of content, and someone else thought it was awesome enough to where they wanted to blog about it, and they blogged and put a link back to that particular post. You'll see a thing in WordPress that almost looks like a comment, and it'll say there is a ping back from this location that's pinging back to this particular post. And now what you can do with that is you can actually approve that ping back, and that ping back will be shown inside that post. But even if that post isn't shown, it's still powerful, because now you know that person has linked to you, and so you can send an email to that person saying thank you. And likewise, you can create a blog post or a content post that says it's the top 20 sites that I love or whatever, and you can ping every single one of those people and start building relationships and so on. Here's allow people to post comments on new articles. Depending on your site, you might want to allow people to comment. Some, maybe you don't. The comment author must fill out name and email. You generally use that checked. User must be registered and logged in to comment. I usually don't, because I don't want people registering to my site. Automatically close comments on articles older than 14 days if you want to do that. That way you don't keep getting comments on posts that really, they're old. It's old stuff. Enable threaded or nested comments. Break comments into pages. And so threaded and nested comments, this is so if people are replying to each other, they know that they're being replied to, almost like a discussion forum. Break comment into pages. So after a while, there might be thousands of comments, hypothetically, and you might want to break those into pages so you don't have 1,000 comments on one page where it's going to take 15 minutes to load that page. Here, you can be notified when people post a comment, or if a comment's held in moderation, held for moderation, I should say. before a comment appears, you can choose to where you have to approve every comment, or the comment author must have a previously approved comment. But that's generally it. You can also blacklist people. You can hold in things into moderation. For moderation, if they have 2 or more links, typically spammers do that. You can put in a bunch of different words here, and if they contain those words, it will be held in moderation, held for moderation. Here you have your blacklisting, so you can blacklist any name, email address, or IP address. And here are some avatars you can use. Typically, if someone is using their email address, it's going to grab their gravatar from gravatar.com and show their picture. If they don't have something, then you can show you can show either the gravatar logo, you can show something blank, a mystery man type thing. You can show all these different things if you wanted to. Okay, then you have the media section. Here's where you can change thumbnail sizes, the medium size, large size of different pictures and images. Embeds, you can auto embed when possible. Embed the content from a URL directly onto the page. That allows you to, if you I usually go the other route of actually embedding, but here if it can, it will try and take the link from the YouTube video and make it into an embed. I don't do it that way. It doesn't work too well in my from what I've seen. So I usually do it the other way. Then your maximum embed size, height as 600 and width as whatever. You want to do this because if you do something that's that's too big, it's going to actually go off of your page or off of the content portion of the area. So generally I will put in like 600 depending on what the content size is, and then I would save it. And then you can select your custom upload folder where things are uploaded. This is the default right here. And I usually just leave this blank, full URL path to files. I just usually leave that blank. And then go back to, we're going to go to privacy. This one's very easy. Privacy, this is if you want to be indexed or if you don't want to be indexed. I have it to where I don't want to be indexed by search engines at all right now. Not all search engines will honor this. It says right here, neither of these options block access to your site. It's up to the search engine to honor your request. But typically the big search engines will honor that. And then lastly, let's go down here to permalinks under settings. Permalinks under settings. Generally, you want to have the default is to have this type of permalink, and it doesn't make a lot of SEO sense, and it just doesn't make a lot. It's not pretty. For example, right here it says www.com blah 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 / P equals 123. So all of your posts, all your pages are going to say that P equals 156 or 1,200. That doesn't really. It's not. Especially if you're telling someone, hey, yeah, you should go to my product page. It's www.mywebsite.com / P equals 2,406. That doesn't make sense, right? That's not very good. The easiest and the most effective way is to select this post name structure, permalink structure. So now it's www.com / about or / products or / sample - post. It's very, very easy to say, very easy to read, and the search engines love it. All right, well, that is it. There's nothing really more that you would need to know about the general settings. This is something obviously that tailor it to however you feel, but generally, with the settings, you want to generally the defaults are okay. The main thing that you definitely want to change is the permalinks. You might want to change some of the writing and reading stuff, but under general, not much to change other than your time zone and so on. And so it's something. This is all very, very simple to do, obviously. And if you have any questions, just let me know.